So you end up downloading a whole bunch of sales transactions from your accounting system, and you get what you see here, just row after row of different transactions. Now, what happened was the data did not come with the actual company name. It just has a company ID, has the rep ID, but not the actual rep name. We have the product SKU number, but not the actual product name as well. Same thing with the vendor and all this stuff too. None of that came in. All right. Now, let's just assume it's going to take you another week or two to procure this again. Maybe you had to order it from somewhere in one of your departments, and it took a while to get. All right. So what would be an alternative to getting it to a point where we can get the actual company name, the rep name, the product name, the vendor name, and some of those other types of information? Well, if you've already gone through Module 5 Excel's videos in the VLOOKUP area, or the VLOOKUP function, you will have seen a number of examples like this and how to operate them. So I'm going to show you how to do it here for this one, but if you're interested in more of these, look on Module 5 and you'll see, I think I got like 5 or 6 videos just pertaining to VLOOKUP, different exercises, different examples. So if you need to learn that, that would be the way to do it. Now, in our case, here's what I've done. If this is what you have, all right, what we end up doing, however you want to go about doing this, is I've got a number of other worksheets opened, okay? And I'm going to start out with the second one here, okay? And that has to do with all the company information. So we're going to be able to use the VLOOKUP formula in that other worksheet to reference this data, and when it finds the specific company ID, it'll then give us that company name, which I think is pretty cool. And that would be it for that one. Now, if I go back down here again and look at the next one, this is the SKU. So remember how we saw the SKU number in that original, but we didn't have the product name? Well, here, the VLOOKUP will go out to this table, look for the SKU number, and then give us that corresponding product name as well, and also fill that same information in for the category. All right, so we'll have the category ID, and you'll have the category as well. The other worksheet that we have here will be this one here, and this has to do with the rep. This is how we'll be able to get not only the rep name, but also how much that rep is getting paid commission-wise to figure out his or her commission for each one of those sales. Pretty neat. But I mean, I'm making this seem kind of easy, but this is what you'd have to come up with. It would be a listing of all this stuff to be able to do what we're about to pull off. Let me show you this last one here. That'll be this one here. And this is the vendor ID. Finds the vendor ID, gives us that particular vendor's name. All right, so we've got quite a few here to work with. So I'm going to go back to my original one here, this one here. And this is where we're going to be looking for the company ID. And when we find the company ID, give us that actual company name, right? So what we do is we do an equal, all right? And then we'll type in this case, VL, and that'll be the VLOOKUP. And we just do a double click on that, right? Now the value that we're looking for is this one right here. That's how we're going to find the company, by looking for the ID and then the associated company name, see? So then we do a comma, all right? Then we go down to our data. We'll dig up the, I think it's this one here. Yep, there it is. And this will have the ID and then the corresponding, company name. So what we do here is we then select the entire column all the way across. So we just do that whole table, just all the way across like that. And then we put a comma in there. And what we're saying is if it finds the ID, we want the second column of information. So we're going to put in the number 2, comma, and then we're going to specify that we want it to be an exact match. So if it can't, for some reason, find the ID, we don't want something as like a close match. We don't want anything. Let us know that there was no match, and there's a little indicator that you'll get. So in this case, we're going to say exact match, just like that. And once we've done that, we hit the enter key. That takes us back to our original sheet. There it is. So that ID number is for that company. Now, go ahead and copy this all the way down. So you go to the bottom right-hand corner, double click it. Look at that. That's pretty cool. That's a lot easier than going to each one of those and putting in a company name. Even if you sorted by the ID, you got over 90 companies, I think, in here. So you'd have to do this 90 times of, copying down North Beach or North South or Rattlesnake Canyon or whatever it is. All right, now we're going to be doing the rep. So here we're going to do an equal VLOOKUP on the rep, comma. Now we need to find that particular table array. So we'll go back down to here, and I think it's this one right here. So we'll click onto that one. There it is. We select the entire table, just going ABC, comma. When it finds the rep ID, we want the rep name, right? So we want the second column, that's number 2, and then comma, and of course an exact match. Once again, see? Enter that in. There we go. Copy that all the way down. And I was mistaken. We had the percentage in there. We just didn't have the name, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. All right, now the next thing that we need to do is the product. I need to know what the actual product names are. See, the thing you want to think about with all this is if you start using this data in things such as like a pivot table, you're not going to get friendly information. If all you have is a SKU number or a rep number or a company ID number, somebody that's not that familiar with those numbers isn't going to know what they're really looking at. So by having the name in there instead of maybe the ID, or having both, it doesn't matter, it makes it just more friendly as far as the data goes. All right, so in this case, we'll do another equal VL, all right? And there's our VLOOKUP. We'll double click that. We're looking for the SKU, comma, and then we'll go back into our clump of data of Excel files there, and we want the SKU number. So that's going to be in the product. I think it's this one right here. There it is. Okay, so there's our product. So we're going to select that whole, from A to G in that case, right? Comma. When it finds the SKU, we want the second column. So we put the number 2 in there, and then a comma, and then of course the exact match. Do that, enter it in. Look at that. Copy that all the way down. All right, next thing we have here is the vendor. All right, we want that information as well. We want to know who the heck 585 is, right? So equal VL for VLOOKUP, double click it. Now we're going to go over to the vendor ID, click onto that, comma, all right? Go down to our Excel, and I think this is the vendors here, yep, so we'll click onto that. We'll select A and B, comma, and when we find the ID, we want the corresponding vendor name. So it's going to be number 2, comma, and then false for the exact match. There we go. What you'll end up getting if it can't find the number, you'll get it like an NA, not available, error in there. It's not a, I guess it's a bad thing because you don't have the ID, don't have the name, but it doesn't affect anything else with the worksheet, so not bad. All right, now, what we need to do is figure out the price that we charge for this pâté chinois, all right? So where we're going to find that? We're going to use a VLOOKUP to do it, but we're going to look up on the product table for this. So again, we'll do an equal VL for a VLOOKUP. We're going to be looking for the SKU number, this one right here, comma, where at? Well, we'll go down to our files here. We're going to go find our product. I think it's this one. No, it's the next one over. So this one here. All right. We select that whole area there, comma. So now when it finds the ID, we want the what? Well, we want the price, you know, what we're charging, right? So it's going to be what? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 columns over. So we type in the number 6, comma, and of course we want this to be an exact match. There it goes. All right. And then once we've done all that, all right, we enter that in. There's the price. We can then copy that all the way down. So then we can see the extended by just doing a simple multiplication on this. So we'll take the price times the quantity, enter that in. There it is. All right. Now the cost is going to be the same format we did here, but instead we're going to get the cost column instead, right? So again, we'll just do an equal. I mean, we could maybe copy the formula, but it's by the time we tweak it, we might as well just type the whole thing. So we'll just do a VL here. All right. There's your VLOOKUP. Again, we're looking up on the SKU number, right, for the product, comma, right? Go down to our clump here. We're going to find, yep, this one here. We're going to select that entire table, right? Then a comma. Now the cost is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, all right? So we put a 7, comma, and then do our false, right? Enter that in. Copy it down. There we go. Now the total cost of goods basically would be taking the quantity times what it cost us to come up with that COG or cost of goods, right? So we can go again, just do a simple subtraction here, so or multiplication, so equal. We take the quantity, right? And then times the cost, see? Enter that in. So we did 20 or 35,000 in revenue. 20 of it though is what we have to pay back to our vendor, Guam Exotic Brewers, right? So we double click that one. There we go. Now the last thing we have in here is the bonus. All right. Now the bonus here is just a very simple calculation, you know, multiplication. So we're going to go to here, hit our equal, and we're going to take the rate that the rep is getting paid, so 8%, right, times, and then the total here. Now, what we could also do is we could say, well, we'll take that rate times, and then take these two, the total minus the cost, and pay them the bonus on the profit, all right? So they'll get 8% of the profit, all right? So if that's the case, what you can do in this situation, I'll just move it over here a little bit, is in parentheses, we will say, okay, I want to take the total minus, now I can't click on to P2, so I'll just type in P2, all right? Close it off there, enter it in, and there we go. So the profit was about maybe, well, about 15,000. So that particular rep will get paid $1,154 on that sale. I'm in the wrong business. That's a great. Now we'll go ahead and copy that down, and there's the rest of them. So there you go. So that's how we do that. I think maybe for some of you might say, well, I'll never run into that kind of a situation, but I'm going to tell you, if you ever do run into it, this is a great way of filling in missing or needed info very easily. And that's all there is to it. So if you want to learn more about the VLOOKUP, again, go to Module 5 in Excel. Like I said, I've got about 5 or 6 or maybe even 7 videos just pertaining to the VLOOKUP. So I think you'll enjoy those. All right, well, thanks again for watching the video. Take care.